Hello there, another Sunday. Hope everyone's doing well. Here's another video for you. I have mentioned in the last little while of my videos that for a couple of years now, probably longer than that, I've been really expanding my collection and adding some different stuff. And in many cases, buying albums that I didn't know anything much about the artist or band that I was picking an album from. And, in all cases, I knew something. I would obviously be directed to these albums by some knowledge based on other videos, recommendations. But in all cases that I'm showing you, I knew nothing about the music, didn't know what it was going to be like, and didn't have a preconceived idea about the actual music. So I wanted to show these albums. I'm going to, as I mentioned previously, change my approach and sort of add some stuff that is missing from my collection that I really, really love. But I'm happy to have this variety and new stuff into my collection. So I wanted to show these blind buys and give some feedback. The way I did it is, I'm lucky. All these stuff that I have, I really like. It's all different sounds, and I really dig it. It's really cool. In many cases, Kara likes the sounds of these albums as well, and I'm fortunate that way. We have a similar interest in music. But in all these albums, I like them. There's no duds at all. I'm very fortunate that way. But there's some that are just like amazing finds. So I'm showing you these albums kind of in order of my favorite to my least favorite of this new stuff. I've got 10 albums to show, and that's what this is about. So these are albums that, again, I bought knowing that, I want to add that artist, but not having any clue really about what it sounded like, what the music's like. So let's start with my favorite of the batch. And my favorite of the batch is the Big Star record. It's called Number One Record. I have had it really not all that long. I really love it. I learned about it about the band from some of the YouTube channels, and we're talking about it. And it's kind of a cool record. It's got this glossy cover, but what a cool record. I love this record. It's great. These guys were big and came up in the 70s, and they had only a handful of albums, but what a cool band. I was trying hard to think, okay, what do they sound like to recommend this to people if you don't know this band. And yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, they're very cool. They're like this really good band that came up then, and I would put them as like similar maybe to a Creedence Clearwater Revival band, maybe a little bit more rocky than that. It's sort of like as if Pearl Jam came out then and only made a couple of albums. I don't know. Yeah, really good band. I like them a lot. This record is fantastic. It's got the song 13, which is a really big song from them. They got a couple of calm kind of songs on this, but then some good rockin' songs. Really a good record. Really happy with it. I know a lot of the record club people that I interact with really thought highly of this and think highly of this album and this band. They've got another album after this one that I want to get, but yeah, Big Star, and this is their debut number one record. What a great find, what a great addition, and I really dig it. It's my favorite of the unheard blind buys for sure. Another really good one is this LCD sound system, and it's got a funny cover that is, the words are different like that. You open it up, it's a gatefold, and it's all kind of funky the way that it's set up. But this one's called Sound of Silver, and this is a band that I saw a whole lot about mentioned in the classic rock magazines over the years, and I didn't know anything much about them at all. So this is a headphone band. I mean, I listened on my headphones, and what a great album. This album's almost as close as this Big Star record in my view, and really cool. modern sounding. I said before that I think that these guys reminds me of New Order, which I really love New Order. But I tell you, the guy's voice, he sounds like Jack White to me. And cool record. You know, it's got someone great on here. North American Scum is probably my favorite song on this appropriate album. And man, what a great record, and cool. I might get something else from them. And that was a blind buy. As I say, I didn't even have any clue that they were this kind of modern sounding band, but I love it. It's great. Very highly recommended. Okay, here's one that I was excited to get. I wanted to get some Billy Bragg for a long time, and then a couple of years ago, whatever it was, he brought out some compilations, which was like, for me, that's always like, all right, good, because how do you start with a guy that's been around a while, his discography? And he brought out these compilations. There's 2 different records that he brought out, a couple of different versions, and I went for this one because it's, you know, affordable and it's a splash into his stuff. And I'll tell you, man, A New England it leads off this record. Sexuality, Waiting for the Great Leap Forward. It's just full of cool stuff. Billy Bragg. So Billy Bragg is this, you know, a singer that's from overseas, and he's kind of very political and, you know, working man type of guy, and stands up. But the songs they're not preachy, and I like his stuff. I think he's cool, and you know, he's kind of like you know, I guess Britain kind of area version of Bryan Adams maybe, but with a little bit more bite to his lyrics for sure. I like his stuff. It's got you know, it's in this cool orange vinyl, which is really fun, but really good collection. Billy Bragg, happy to have him. You know, I had heard about him over the years from different sources, watching music stuff, and always kind of was curious. I guess he's like a singer-songwriter kind of guy, but not in a gentle kind of calm acoustic way always. He tends to you know, rock it out a little bit, but big fan of this guy, and I think it's a good compilation to get. Okay, here's one that was a blind buy, and a true blind buy where I just on a whim bought it, and I had heard the name before on some of the channels and music channels and record review stuff, but I didn't know anything about them. I thought they were a lot like harder edge, kind of like dirty punk type of stuff. Pavement. And you know, the name, even the record cover, it's very, very odd. This is a compilation, so that fit the bill for me. Quarantine the Past. It was pretty inexpensive. I love it. It's got a lot of songs on here and a lot of cool stuff. And you know, there's a little bit of angsty type of alternative stuff on here for sure, but there's also that kind of like a Wilco type of sound, you know, just good, honest rock. I love it. I think it's really good. I'm really happy to have this, and it was a good buy. I'm still not even completely aware of what's on here completely. You know, I've listened to some of the stuff, and it's, I dig it a lot. I think it's a really good purchase, and, you know, highly recommend. You know, it's one of these ones, because it's a compilation, you get a good taste of their stuff, and yeah, it was a really cool find. What a strange cover for an album. All right, here's one that I don't really buy used records very often at all. It's just my way. I've told this before, I tend to buy new, take really good care of it and all that stuff, and I'm a bit of a clean freak as far as touching things that have been around the corner. So, but once in a while I do buy a used record, or I get one given to me, or sometimes consume some used records from people, but it's rare. One of the ones that I got on my own, not really a couple of years ago, was from a guy that I first heard about when I saw the film This Is 40, and he makes a cameo appearance, the Paul Rudd movie. He makes a cameo appearance a couple of times in the movie, playing himself in the band, and that's Graham Parker and the Rumor. So I picked up this. It's called High Times, the Best Of, and you know, it's in no way. This guy's been around a long time. He's made a lot of different music and a lot of big discography. So, you know, one album of his more popular stuff is not a synopsis of this man's work and his band, but it's a taste of it, and I love it. I think it's very cool, and you know, the first song right off the bat of the record's my favorite, Hey Lord, Don't Ask Me Questions, but it's also got Local Girls, which is a pretty cool song, you know, Heat Treatment. It's got some cool stuff. So this guy's sound is sort of like Elvis Costello, Joe Jackson, who I'm a big fan of. You know, he's similar in that kind of vein. You know, Graham Parker and the Rumor. So this was like a really cheap used record that is in fantastic shape, and it sounds amazing. I just love it. Kara mentioned that she said that his voice reminds her of Van Morrison, which is a fair assessment. That's cool. You know, I think he's got a little bit more of a raspy kind of tone to his voice, and he's a little bit more of a, you know, a little bit more of a punky kind of attitude kind of thing. But good artist, you know, popular with some music people, but he's underrated, put it that way, compared to what he should be. Good stuff on here. So that's Graham Parker and the Rumor. Now here's a blind buy, strictly because of Record Store Day. You know, I tend to go out at Record Store Day and go after some things, and I have a loose idea. And I had a loose idea of this band. Why? Well, I knew of one song, which is extremely popular, but I didn't know anything about the rest of the sound of the band. So the band is Keane, and this is a live record, and it's like a compilation type thing, I guess, of, you know, it's a live record, so it's got some of their best stuff. So the song that everyone would know is Somewhere Only We Know, and what a nice song. But they've got a lot of good songs on here. Bed Shaped, Alameda, Bend and Break, a lot of really good stuff. So Keane, what are they? Well, they're a band that when they came up, you know, alongside bands like Radiohead and that type of thing, they won Brit Awards, Album of the Year and stuff like that. But they are piano first type of sound. So the main instrument is piano, and I love that. I love the piano sound. I would call them like a similar sound to Coldplay, maybe a little bit, yeah, similar to that. I love the guy's voice. It's very smooth, very nice voice. This has got some pretty cool records. It's got a white vinyl, and the other one that is red, which is cool. And again, it's a Record Store Day buy, and I'm happy with it. I think it's a really good buy, and it sounds, for a live record, it sounds spectacular. A lot of clapping, a lot of applause throughout. So, you know, whatever. But Keane, live at Paradiso, very good buy. Here's one that I bought not that long ago, and I didn't realize it was another Record Store Day release, I guess, but it was in the store, and I picked it up. It's pretty extensive because it's 3 different records, all on this kind of orangey kind of vinyl, and it's Fleet Foxes, another live record, live at Boston Harbor, and it has a whack of songs on here, and this was a complete blind buy. I heard the name before, but didn't know anything about how they sounded, and it's a nice listen. Kind of folky, kind of, yeah, it's easy listening type of music, I guess. Certainly in the rock vein it is. But the last song on the record, Helplessness Blues, what a beautiful song. What a great song. Wonderful lyric. Fleet Foxes, so not disappointed at all. There's a lot of songs to listen to and get into, so I'll be sort of consuming this one for a long time yet, but I like it. All right, a few more. Mark Lanegan, I've showed this before. This is Whiskey for the Holy Ghost, and this is his, it turns out it's his second record. I thought it was his first record, but it's not. And this guy is the singer that was part of the grunge band Screaming Trees, and he's since deceased. So this music, this music is dark. This guy's a dark character. He's got a deep baritone type of voice, and but it's got some cool songs on here. It's one of those records you want to just chill out with headphones. Really good. Carnival, Sunrise, and Pendulum are the standout songs to me. Amazing artist. Did a lot of records, a bunch of solo records. He's a dark character though, so you got to be in the mood for this kind of stuff. He's some really good musicians that joined him on this record, so it sounds good, and happy to have it. It's really a cool record with this embossed cover. Yeah, Mark Lanegan. Here's one I bought with my son. I was out with my son shopping one time, and I bought this record, and it is Alpha Zulu, and it is a band called Phoenix. So the reason I bought this is that we were off to see Beck, and Phoenix was opening that show. Well, Phoenix blew that show away. They were really good. I loved them live. They were very good. This record is fun. It's upbeat, it's bright, it's kind of short, but the song Winter Solstice is the star of the show on this record, but it's a really good record. Kind of fun, bright, positive type of kind of poppy rock. I like it though. Good record, nice find. One of the more gorgeous records to look at because it's got this beautiful vinyl that's this see-through kind of greeny vinyl, and sounds pretty good. Happy with that record. Definitely one that makes sense that my son would recommend, but man, they were good live. They really were really good live. Okay, last one to show you is this one I bought just on a whim. I had heard the name a bunch of times, and I knew they were, you know, certainly not a new act, and they've been around. Belle and Sebastian. So this is If You're Feeling Sinister. I'm not gonna lie, I looked at a couple of reviews of which album to get from them, and when I saw this, it was fairly inexpensive, and I grabbed it. Cool music. It's a he's got this you know, their sound, their, you know, from where they come from overseas, and you know, I like it a lot. They write some unique kind of quirky kind of songs, funny kind of songs. The Fox in the Snow, If You're Feeling Sinister, The Boy Done Wrong Again. Kind of fun lyrics, nice kind of background type stuff, and not a bad buy. I'm happy to have it for sure. So that's my review of the complete blind buys that I've added to my collection. In no case do I say stay away from that record. They're all cool records to buy. Hope that maybe helps if you're out shopping and you've heard about some of these records and you're curious. And yeah, as I say, I'm going to sort of turn my attention to filling some holes in my discography and less of the stuff I don't have even heard before. I've got so much of that, which I'm happy to do. It's nice. My next video I'm going to do is, I want to shine a light. This is supposed to be a channel about rock, right? That's what I know and love the most. So I'm going to pick out some songs and records that, songs that promote rock and roll, that sing about rock and roll. So think AC/DC, Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution. So I'm going to pull out some songs that are celebrating rock, and we're going to talk about those. Okay, so take care, everyone. Stay positive, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.